Day and good afternoon. My name is Eddie Regis. I'm the administrator for Latte Treatment Center. And I'd like to ask you to imagine that you're a parent of a child that has requires intensive psychiatric treatment at a residential treatment center, and your child has, the team here has elected to send your child off island. So you can see how traumatic that could be for any family and for the child themselves. I can tell you that 20 years ago, there were children that were sent off at the age of 15, and believe it or not, they're still off island, and they're 40 years old, and there's a number of consumers that are still off island, and they've tried to bring them back, but that's been very difficult for them to do. In 2002, Guam was awarded a Child Mental Health Initiative grant, which was a 6-year grant, $9 million funding source to develop an array of children's mental health services, which included therapeutic group home and day treatment services, as well as respite. In 2005, there was an effort to there was a court order from the Superior Court of Guam, Judge Merriman, where she ordered the executive branch to bring a child home that was receiving services off island. That child was 14 years of age. During that time frame, it was necessary for us to develop a plan and present a plan to the court. And there was a strong advocate, Guam Legal Services, that was really pushing for bringing that child home. Because if they didn't, Guam Legal Services would have filed a lawsuit for violation of civil rights and not being able to provide services here in Guam. So in 2005, we made a decision to work with the off-island provider to come to Guam and to train people locally so that we could bring that child home as soon as possible. And we were under a lot of pressure. Later, there was a decision to outsource the services to a locally established company, the Latte Treatment Center, so that we can do 3 things that were requested of us from the Director of Mental Health at that particular time. And J. Peter Roberto is back there. He was the director at the time, and he had only asked you, do you remember the 3 things that you asked Latte to commit to?
I think the big one was build local capacity. We needed to build our own capacity. I believe that we could do it, and it, not just build it, but also get it to a point where it can be credible in terms of, seeking some form of accreditation, and that it just doesn't come here and then all of a sudden goes away to community programs. How can we sustain it for the long run so we can stop sending our children off island and keep them safe?
Okay.
Well, those were the key ones. Yeah.
At the time, I was Pete's deputy at the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse, so we were under a lot of pressure from the court. And I can tell you, sustainability, we've been here since 2005, so this next month, the first week of June, is going to be our 20th anniversary. With regard to accreditation, after being established in 2005, we got accredited by the Joint Commission for Behavioral Health Care Organizations. And we've gone through 5 successful 3-year accreditation cycles, and the next site visit from the Joint Commission is this year. And then as far as local capacity, all our staff are homegrown, and we have about 145 years of cumulative experience amongst all the staff that we have. Next, sir. So the president of the NASW asked us to, in our presentation, if we can at least expand on the policies that may have impacted the history of Latte Treatment Center. And they wanted to find out how our policies have helped shape other agencies. So this presentation is intended to cover the programming for Latte Treatment Center. So we have Alyssa Talahi. She's going to be presenting on family preservation. Marie Carpentino will be presenting on education. Mary Weekly will be presenting on transition. And Dawn Regis will be presenting on policies and procedures. As part of our introduction today, we're going to sprinkle a little bit of social work principles throughout our presentation. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mateo Atienza. He is a UOG intern under the clinical psych program. He's also a part-time employee at Latte Treatment Center providing direct care. Mateo?
So I've prepared a bit of an interactive kind of activity. I'm a staff at Latte Treatment Center part-time. And as a staff, I've learned that we are very similar to social workers in many ways. Some of the principles that you can see also on your slides there are supporting self-determination, micro-level practice, evidence-based practice, strength-based practice, and so forth. And a lot of these we use at Latte Treatment Center as staff. We're not directly social workers, but a lot of things we do are very similar actually. So I will be going over some videos. These videos we filmed with the staff at Latte, and they're examples of how we use these. And these examples are very real for us. Some of them are inspired by true, moments that we've seen at Latte. And so we will be playing some videos, very short videos, and in each of them is represented one of these principles. Some of these tables, table 1, 2, and 3 over here, have in the center of the table you can see these little kind of banner things. So as soon as the video ends, you will raise the banner, and the team to raise the first banner at the end of the video with the correct answer and the correct principle will win a point. By the end of this presentation, we have some prizes we'd like to give out. So, also keep you guys a little engaged, right? Participating in everything. So let's see how this goes. Let's go ahead and try out that first video. So this video is a staff sits with a client who is receiving one-on-one counseling. The child appears to be quiet but engaged as the staff uses a calm, supportive tone to help him work through his emotions.
Hey, buddy. How's your day? How's school?
Sucks.
Why? What happened?
Nah, dude, you guys lie.
About?
You guys said I'm going home. How come I'm still here?
Okay. Well, just keep in mind that already your parent is coming for on-campus visit every weekend. It's because of your behaviors, and you're doing so well.
No, but I'm here long already. These kids are bothering me. Pretty soon I might get in trouble just because I've been here too long.
Okay. Well, maybe we can talk to the team and see, what we can do. And but for the meantime, you're doing so well. We haven't gotten any reports from the school. Your behaviors here at Latte is positive. So, you're already going on day passes, and I can bring it to the clinical team and let them know how you're feeling. But for now, just, you're doing so well. We haven't had any issues from school, and your on-campus visits are going very good with your parents. We'll see what the team says for the next visit.
When are you gonna talk to the team?
We have our meetings every Wednesday, where all the clinical team comes together, and then I'll let them know your concern.
So today you talk to the team and I gotta wait till next week?
No, I'm pretty sure somebody will let you know. But for the meantime, keep up the good work.
All right, miss, I'll try, but
Yeah.
cannot promise.
Oh, that's so good. I have something for you.
Thank you.
All right, let's see who can guess the correct answer. And start.
Micro.
Do we have over there? And on this table?
We have reflective practice and
Practice.
supervision in this table,
Micro-level.
micro-level practice,
And over here, final answer?
strength-based.
Strength-based. It is micro-level practice. So,
Viva social work.
so that's how it's going to go throughout the presentation, we're gonna have a few more videos and opportunities. So one point over there, any table that does not have, like this table here, very sorry, you can join teams with another table if you want to participate as well. So this is just one example of how we use micro-level practice, interacting with the clients, being there with them on a smaller scale, right? So this next one is the scene opens up in a cozy meeting room at Latte. A social worker sits across from a teenager and their parent.
Thanks for coming in today, Pedro. We're here to talk about your individual service plan, or ISP, and this is all about what you want for your future. Your ideas are the most important part of this plan.
Wait, I get to decide what goes in there?
That's right. We'll support you, but this plan is all about your strengths and goals, and let's start with something that you're good at or enjoy.
I think I'm good at fixing maybe phones or like computers.
That's awesome. So let's make that a focus, and we can explore workshops or vocational training to build on those skills. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
Great. How about independence? What's something that you'd like to learn that can help you feel more in control of your life?
I'd like to learn maybe cook for myself. I don't want to just always get fast food all the time. Yeah.
Perfect. We can add cooking lessons to your plan. Step by step, you'll be learning skills that give you more independence and confidence.
Great job, son. I'm really glad that you're taking charge of your life.
And that's the key to self-determination, making your own decisions and building the skills to live the life that you want. We're here to support you every step of the way.
Almost a dead giveaway. Go ahead, pick up your flag. Quick.
So we have self-determination back there, self-determination back there.
And
Wow, you guys got
okay, we all got it correct, but first team was back there again, so it's also a matter of skill. So there we go. Okay, let's try Let's go ahead and try one more. So Matt, an 18-year-old resident, is seated across from Mr. J, a staff at Latte. Today they focus on empowering Matt to take control of his future, finishing their education, seeking employment, and planning for the next step in life.
Hey, thanks for meeting me. How are you doing?
I'm okay. It just, I'm just a little worried because, I'm graduating and everything, and I just don't know what to do. Like, I want to be a mechanic, but I just don't know where to start.
Okay, well, you gotta start somewhere. I know it can be scary, but I'm here to help you. Were you thinking about furthering your education, or did you just want to start working?
Well, I don't know. I just don't think I'm smart enough for school. And then it's also really expensive. I don't have any money to pay for GCC. I know they have some stuff for me, but, for being a mechanic, but I don't know if I'm smart enough, and I don't have any of the money.
Lucky for you, there's financial aid, vocational training centers you can apply for. I printed a list of some jobs. So if you did go to school, you can take a look at these jobs for part-time. You could go to school and
No way. And the financial aid could help me pay for it?
for your school, yeah.
Whoa, it's so cool. And then these are are these places all hiring?
Most of them.
Even for mechanics and stuff?
Tire changer, detailers, car washers.
Wow. Maybe you could take me to this place. I think maybe here, this one, Pacific Tire. I
Yeah,
heard
it's a good
really
choice.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah, you think you could take me?
I could.
Thank you so much. Wow, that's so
No
cool.
problem. Hey,
Aw.
here to help you, buddy.
All right, go ahead. Raise up the flag. Yes, but I did see a flag go up over there first. But yes, it is empowerment. So we focus on empowerment. An applause regardless. So as you can see, we all at Latte, we interact with the kids in many ways. We empower them through helping them get, jobs. These are all very real examples of things that many of the staff have experienced at Latte. Me, myself, I haven't been there too long. But some of these things I've seen, and we do interact with clients like this, and we do apply these principles. So we'll be seeing a few more of this throughout the presentation. But for now, I'll turn it over to Ms. Alyssa.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alyssa Sperlocki, and I will be presenting on the topic of family preservation. So, in the clinical residential group home setting, our ultimate getting a little excited up here, excited and nervous, but we'll go on with our story.
Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, but really only just yesterday, there was a very close family that lived in the village of Nanalahi. They all met every weekend to celebrate something. There was always something, and they were constantly busy preparing lagwa, finihi, breadfruit, woven mats, and floral decorations, so that when visitors came, either from a village or from somewhere else, there was always something to offer and a beautiful place for the people to rest. One day, when the whole family was busy with their usual activities, a young mother named Atisa shattered the peaceful yet frenzied activities. My boy, I can't find Ektasi. Where is he? Have you seen him? Everyone looked and looked. Under the bushes, in the boonies, in all the huts. Ektasi was nowhere to be found. Atisa suddenly got angry and started accusing others of harming her son. You never liked my son, she cried. You always let the other kids pick on him and make him feel like he didn't belong. The others became angry and started saying that if Atisa was a better mom, maybe Ektasi would still be around. If only you had spent more time with him, they shouted. If only you had let us help you when he started misbehaving, instead of pretending there was nothing wrong, they accused. If only you had stayed with your husband and not gone off with that other guy from the village, they shrieked. He probably ran away, and it's all your fault that he's gone. Atisa despaired. She cried, she screamed, she begged her ancestors to help. But after a time, she just gave up. Maybe Ektasi is better off without me, she thought, and started for home. Just then, the Magahaga spoke. Has anyone checked the Nunu tree? I've seen the duendes running around the edge of the boonies lately. Everyone stopped. There was a collective gasp. Do you think it's true? Do you think Ektasi could have been taken by the duendes? The villagers gathered together a search party. The Makana and the Magahaga joined them as they made their way to the Nunu tree. Once there, the Makana placed Atisa in the middle of a circle of villagers and began to sing a song of healing. The Magahaga went to each one and gave them an assignment based on their own personal strengths to help Atisa reconnect with her son. Then she went to the Nunu tree with the Makana. Together they knelt in front of the tree and asked the ancestors to bless the village and to forgive Atisa and Ektasi for anything they might have done to offend. Soon a light came from inside the tree, and the Makana used his magic staff to gently tap the tree in a special rhythm. Suddenly, Ektasi tumbled out of the tree. The duendes came out and did a short dance around him, and they ran off, giggling. Atisa was overjoyed. She hugged and kissed her son. The villagers were moved to tears at the reunion and promised to carry out their assignments in support of Atisa. Let this be a lesson to all, proclaimed the Magahaga. We all need to support and care for each other, because when one is troubled, we all suffer.
So in the clinical residential group home setting, our ultimate goal is not just to stabilize the child, it's to help families heal, reconnect, and build the skills they need to support lasting change. Family preservation starts at the very first moment from admission, and we actively engage families, setting the tone for collaboration and trust. And we are able to do so through regular communication. Regular communication is essential for family preservation because familial connection is so precious, because as we may all know, not every child has that. And one way that we can encourage regular communication is through phone calls, whether these are with family members who are on island or off island. And families need to be heard, informed, and included, not just during crises or treatment meetings, but consistently in every step of the process. And we encourage them to engage in the decision-making process of their child's treatment, as their input is very valuable. We make space for the family voice to be heard, and by respecting their insights, their wishes, and their cultural values in treatment setting. And we do have a real-life situation of the story from Atisa and Ektasi, and they are currently striving towards reunification. So one way that we ensure at LTC that Atisa is an active participant in Actasi's treatment is by providing her with gas coupons for the times that she is able to come to LTC. And we also provide her with transportation to and from LTC so that she may attend meetings, court hearings, and family therapy. And we can empower families through psychoeducation by helping them understand their child's or loved one's diagnoses, trauma impacts, and their behavioral patterns. And in the case of Atisa and Atasi, this education is also valuable as Atisa has her own her mental health diagnoses. And through family therapy, we create a safe environment for families to express, process, and to heal. And we also work hard to recognize family trauma histories because families, just like the youth that we serve, carry wounds that must be acknowledged with compassion. And as we can learn from the story of Atisa and Atasi, it's not about blame, but about providing tools and knowledge so families can feel confident in supporting their children. And we not only work towards building and gaining trust from our clients and their families, but with one another as well. And building trust is a slow, intentional process. And at LTC, we help families establish these connections through a progression of visitations, such as on-campus visits, supervised day classes, then on to unsupervised day classes, and eventually to home classes, where we help families practice new skills and rebuild positive experiences together. And we also work to help rebuild family relationships by encouraging parent-child bonding activities. And through these activities, the families are allowed to create new memories, strengthen the connections that may have been strained or broken. And we also work to strengthen the family capacity. So skill building is central, not just for the youth, but for their caregivers as well. And we equip families with conflict resolution strategies, coping tools, and communication techniques to sustain progress after discharge. Through in-home support services, we work to link families with the necessary resources that they'll need. And we extend our support beyond the group home walls. In-home support services help families apply what they've learned in real-world settings. And we ensure they have access to resources to meet practical needs such as housing, employment, and educational support. And in the case of Atisa and Atasi, we are currently working with Atisa towards reunification by assisting her accomplish her SPA, or her service plan agreement terms. And while working towards discharge planning, we work with the family through gradual reintegration, which helps families ease into full reunification, allowing them to address challenges step by step rather than all at once. And at LTC, we offer and assist families with parent training modules, which include behavioral management techniques and medication management. And because we know that crises are inevitable, we prepare families through crisis and safety planning so they know how to respond without fear or shame. And even after discharge, post-discharge follow-up is crucial. We remain connected, providing guidance and encouragement through the often rocky transition back home. Our work with families also includes conflict mediation, supporting them in resolving long-standing issues with dignity and respect. We approach everything through a family systems lens, recognizing that a child's behavior doesn't exist in isolation, but it is a part of a broader dynamic. And we help families navigate legal and custody issues, offering advocacy and support when systems feel overwhelming. And along the way, we make sure to recognize milestones, no matter how small, and we use positive reinforcement to celebrate the progress families achieve. As in the story of Atisa and Atasi, successful family reunification is only possible through shared support and efforts.
So we're going to do another video here. We have direct staff, Mr. Shaw, who has been on shift for the past few days, sits across from a client who appears frustrated. Let's go ahead and play the video.
Are you okay? I noticed you've been looking a little down lately. Want to talk about anything?
No.
Okay, that's fine. I'll be here if you want to.
Why do you even care?
What do you mean?
You're just gonna leave like everybody else that come.
Well, yeah, I have to leave here eventually. I have a family of my own.
Yeah, whatever. Why are you still here?
Well, you see me here for 4 days at a time.
You're here like everybody else that comes for money,
Yeah.
Mr. Sean.
Well, we all come here for money. That's why we work here. But we're also here to help you out. Do you know the real reason we stay here 4 days at a time?
Why?
It's to give you some structure and some consistency. When you go to bed at night, who's here? I'm here. When you wake up in the morning, who's there? I'm here. And then when you have an issue, who's gonna be there?
You?
Yeah.
So you'll be here tomorrow, Mr. Sean?
Yeah. Until I get up.
So what time?
I'll be here all night. And when you wake up in the morning, you'll see me again.
So when you come in tomorrow, can you buy me Takis, Mr. Sean?
Oh, I'm not gonna buy you Takis if you're talking to me like that.
Okay, Mr. Sean. You're awesome, Mr. Sean.
All right, and raise your flags. What do we have over there? Reflective practice, okay? Strength-based, and? But those two are not correct, though. Reflective practice, no. No. Evidence-based practice. The key was the 4 days on, so 3 points over there. So the key is the 4 days on. As staff, we stay there 4 days at a time to give kids some consistency. So the staff alternate 4 days on, 4 days off. And this is an evidence-based practice. So let's try one more video for this section. So now we have a client who sits at the table, sketching in her notebook. Mr. Luke, a Latte staff member, walks in and notices the client deeply focused on her drawing. Go ahead and play the video.
Wow, Mary, that's a really nice drawing.
It's all right.
I don't know, I've seen some of the other paintings that you've done, and I mean, this is real talent.
No, it's just a hobby. It doesn't really matter.
I think I get why you say that, but do you remember when we talked about your individual service plan? About you expressing your feelings and your emotions?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I guess drawing can help with that. Well, I mean, it's definitely a strength. You have this kind of incredible way of putting, emotions on paper. And you know what else? You know what we can use with that?
What? We'll use it as what?
Well, what if we created maybe a project? Like an art room in the community room, something that maybe represents, everyone's journey here, kind of like a mural. You'd be leading it, of course.
Me? Leading it?
Well, why not? I mean, you've got the skills, and I think the other kids would really connect with it. And plus, it'd be something you can look back on, maybe kind of leave your mark.
I guess that would be cool.
I think so too, and we can set up a time maybe to talk about it, but I mean, no pressure. Just a nice idea.
Okay, I think that would be cool to do.
You need to come around to it.
All right, ready, and go. What do we have here? Strength-based and strength-based. Strength-based, well, I think it may be a tie. Well, I don't know, because here they were holding it the entire time. Okay, very well. It is strength-based practice. So for future videos, when I say go, let's try it like that. But yes, correct, it is strength-based practice, focusing on the strengths of the client. So I will now turn it over to Ms. Mary.
If you want to follow along in the story, there is a printout of the story.
Hi everyone, I'm Merrick Carr. I'm getting a bit nervous because I see some GDOE and I'm really but I'll do my best. So I'm presenting on education. Want to play the video? So it's a story of Chicharita. I'm not tomorrow, so my tomorrow can't be long.
Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, but really only just yesterday, there lived a beautiful little girl in the village of Nahalani. Chichirica was born to Mariana, the village Sarahana, who was known far and wide for her healing skills. At a very young age, Chichirica learned all the plants and all the ways to make them into medicine. Her mom often praised her, saying she couldn't help as many people as she did without Chichirica. There came a time when Chichirica had to start leaving the house to gather with the other village girls to learn all the other skills women typically did. Chichirica didn't like leaving her mom or the comforts of her home and what she was good at, but Mariana insisted, saying she didn't have the time to show Chichirica these other skills. Being a good girl, Chichirica did as her mom asked and walked to other family compound to learn from her auntie Nina. But she didn't like it. She didn't like weaving, she didn't like grinding, she didn't like standing over a hot stove to make tititas. She didn't like the smell of fish guts, especially the tetaga. She daydreamed of the beautiful plants and the sweet fragrance in her own house. When her Aunt Nina caught her not doing her task, she would shout at Chichirica and asked her why she couldn't get her work done. She would constantly compare her to other girls, and in turn, the other girls started teasing Chichirica. Most days, Chichirica went home crying. She begged and begged her mom not to have her go. "They don't like me, Mom. They tease me, and Aunt Nina doesn't do anything about it. She just shouts at me to do better." Mariana did what she could to calm Chichirica, and they both agreed they would try again the next day. But the next day, Mariana secretly followed her daughter to Nina's place and hid in the bushes all day and observed. When she saw Chichirica starting to head home, Mariana greeted her, dried her eyes and told her to go home, and prepared some plans for the next day. Mariana went to Nina. "Sis, Chichirica has been telling me she's not happy here, that you yell at her and other girls tease her. She comes home crying every day." Nina exclaimed, "What? I can't believe she's telling you those lies. Chichirica is lazy. She doesn't listen. She thinks she's too good to do hard work. You need to tell her to behave when she's here." Mariana was very angry, but she held her temper, and she did not tell Nina what she saw with her own eyes. Instead, she invited Nina and all the other girls to her house the next day. When Nina and the girls arrived, Chichirica served them with tea and lacy rice cookies that she had made herself. Everyone was amazed at how delicious everything was. Then Chichirica showed them plants, told them the names and the medicinal properties, and demonstrated how she could make medicines and how she healed people with massages and special teas. When the day was over, the girls quietly got up and left. On her way out, Nina apologized to Mariana and told Chichirica that she had a very special talent that she admired. They all made an agreement to share knowledge and consider each person's special needs and strengths. Chichirica returned to Aunt Nina's house the next day. She was welcomed with hugs, and Nina made accommodations for her tasks. The other girls stopped teasing her and began to ask questions about plants. In the end, the whole village benefited by including someone with a special talent.
So the key goals of school transition at Latte is to ensure continuity of education, support emotional and behavioral stability, collaboration between residential and educational teams, and promote long-term academic success and inclusion. So continuity of education. So a review of the child's past school records provided the following crucial information. Number one, information on academic baseline helps with the design of appropriate educational support. Two, it is well documented that behaviors are often linked to mental health diagnoses. Having some behavioral insight can help therapeutic staff tailor interventions accordingly. Three, reviewing school records ensures the continuity of care and educational and therapeutic services such as the IEP and 504 plans, which are legally mandated. School data helps support comprehensive individual treatment plans by integrating educational goals and therapeutic objectives. And finally, collaboration with educational institutions allow group home staff to better coordinate with the school, ensuring consistent supports across environments. Latte Treatment Center makes every effort to understand the client's current academic levels and special education that they are receiving. In many cases, a client that is referred to Latte without having had the appropriate assessments to ensure that they are identified as in need of IEP or 504 accommodation, which puts them at a disadvantage. Latte functions as a client's advocate to ensure that these accommodations are established and supported with appropriate behavioral management plans. We also ensure that they are subsequently updated to current circumstances by considering academic levels, behavioral supports, mental health needs, and transition services. During our admission process, we do meet with the client's parent and guardian to gather a comprehensive psychosocial history, which includes the child's educational information. Through their stay at Latte, our protocol is to convene a meeting with the transition meeting with the child's educational team, and this is to ensure a smooth and structured handover of responsibilities, ensure knowledge transfer, avoid disruption of services, and clarify roles and build a relationship between Latte and the educational team. For support and emotional behavioral stability, Latte strives to support emotional behavioral stability for each client through established safety plan, designed to assist schools during a crisis situation. Safety plans include the child's warning signs, triggers, antecedents, intervention techniques, and who to call at Latte in the event there's a crisis. We also recognize the importance of sharing strategies, triggers, and responses, which allows both teams to use consistent language, rules, and interventions, leading to more effective behavior support. When necessary, Latte supports the school with shadowing activities. Other supports provided by Latte are to talk with the client on the phone to help diffuse a situation, or when a child is transitioning home, staff have been known to go to the house to assist with getting the child to go to school. So for example, Latte has assisted a previous client and guardian with her child because he didn't want to go to school. He struggled with ADHD and slept late and would feel tired in the morning. When prompted by his parent to get ready for school, he would display negative and often aggressive behaviors. Latte staff responded to the home and provided intervention to the family to de-escalate the behavior. They were then able to successfully transport the client to school. Another example is sometimes teachers, nurses, and other school personnel call us requesting telephone intervention. So we do that a lot often because our clients are comfortable with our team and the staff that we have. They're able to talk about their worries, problems, or difficulties in school. Oftentimes, you just need a pep talk from staff for the client to continue their day at school. So, frequent communication. So, to ensure a smooth transition to the school setting, and to ensure academic success, Latte case managers maintain frequent contact with the child's educational team. It is more just behaviors. We also communicate with schools regarding tutoring needs and medication changes, but behaviors are more often the main reason we are contacted. For example, now and then we do receive reports of bullying in the school. Communication between school personnel and Latte is crucial because one time a client reported that her teacher was bullying her. With open communication channels, each side could consider factors such as client's manipulative behavior, or that the client does not like what they're being told, or that the client could be experiencing psychosis that may be affecting her judgment. She does have a history of schizoaffective. So recognizing the school environment as critical to the client's development, stability, and overall success, Latte encourages active participants of educational team in our quarterly meetings, which we have every 3 months. Next slide, collaboration and communication. The importance of collaboration and communication cannot be understated. When the group home and educational team communicate openly, they can ensure consistent strategies, expectations, and response across settings, which is crucial for the client's feeling of consistency, safety, and predictability. Building a strong relationship between the case managers and the school liaisons is foundational to effective student-centered support. When we collaborate well with the educational teams, students benefit from smoother transitions, more consistent interventions, and strong advocacy. Additionally, it fosters trust and teamwork between school and residential care professionals. Frequent multidisciplinary team meetings between the educational team, Latte, and key stakeholders are critical to ensuring consistent, individualized, and trauma-informed care for students in residential settings. Latte holds like I mentioned earlier, Latte does hold quarterly meetings to discuss a child's progress in treatment. These meetings promote unified planning, strengthening communication, provides clinical updates, review goals and objectives in treatment, transition planning and updates, behavioral observation, and review of the crisis events that have happened. For academic assessment and inclusion, oftentimes clients may regress or setbacks, whether it be because they started transition to a new environment, hearing new information about their family that may require reassessment. Often clients have difficulties in adjusting to change and may need time to process the change and need our support through shadowing or remaining at the group home until the issue at hand is addressed in therapy. When a client transitions from elementary school to middle school or to high school, Latte works with the school to coordinate school tours and introduction of school staff to the client. We offer temporary shadowing to support the client during transition to a new school. This also applies when a client moves to a different district school. So just to sum up, inclusion in education is about being fair. Fair isn't everybody getting the same thing. Fair is everybody getting what they need in order to be successful. In the case of Chichirica, she was great at planting. She was knowledgeable of medicinal plants and healing aspects of plants and making special teas. This was her strength. However, she struggled with weaving, grinding, and making tortillas. After learning about Chichirica's strengths and struggles, Chichirica was provided accommodations for the tasks that she had difficulties in. This carves a path to plan a better society. When we support others by providing them with what they need, we help them pursue and achieve their goals. We play a big part in social change and growth for children who are similar to Chichirica. At Latte, we advocate for school inclusion and educational supports and services that will help a child succeed in life. Latte collaborates and communicates with the school daily to ensure that the child receives their education despite their challenges, whether it be academic, emotional, or behavioral, language barrier, or social-economic hardship. We as social workers and change agents have a legal and moral duty to support students facing these challenges.
Yet another video for you guys. So a room at Latte Treatment Center is set up with a large table where several professionals from different fields are gathered. A social worker sits at the table along with a clinician, a psychiatrist, and educational coordinator. The team is meeting to discuss a holistic approach for the residents' care. Let's go ahead and play the video.
All right, team. So the purpose of today's meeting is to discuss Maria's care plan. So she's made a lot of progress in therapy. So some of the areas we need to address are her education, mental health, and family dynamics.
Yes, I've noticed some changes in her emotional regulation, but I know there are still some challenges in the school setting. Do we have the latest update from her IEP?
Yes, so we've addressed Maria's learning plan and she'll be receiving additional supports for her math skills. And we've also added accommodations for extra time during tests. However, there's still the issue of her school attendance, which I think we'll need to address during her upcoming transition meeting.
Well, I've noticed Maria's medication has helped a lot with her anxiety, but I have realized that her sleep schedule has become inconsistent. Maybe we need to reevaluate the medication she's taking or other interventions to probably improve her overall well-being.
Okay, so to summarize, so we're updating the IEP, and then we're also reviewing the medication plan, and then we're providing a full detailed report to the judge at the next court hearing. So we'll meet again next week to reconvene a RAP meeting, so that we're all on the same page. How does that sound for everybody?
Sounds good.
All right, so thanks everyone. With all of us collaborating, I'm confident and hopeful that we can get Maria where she needs to be and meet her full potential.
Ready and go. The speed is on that table for sure. It is collaborative and multidisciplinary practice. Very competitive over there. Yeah, they're truly fast. Correct, yes. We do collaborate with many different disciplines. There, we have another video. Ready? Right, so this is another room filled with people at Latte Treatment Center, including a supervisor, some direct care staff, and lead staff. The lead staff is guiding the team through reflection and their recent interaction with challenging clients, aiming to ensure they approach each situation with empathy, understanding, and professionalism. Go ahead and play the video. All right, guys, thanks everyone for coming. I know there was a therapeutic hold the other day. I read the report. I also looked through all the footage, right? And I just wanted to ask you guys how it went, what happened, what were the triggers, and these things. So, Mr. Jai, I know you were the first one, so just let us know what happened.
Yeah, I was working in the office and Serena asked me to print some stuff, and I just told her to hold on. But soon after I told her, she started having some behavioral issues, falling to the floor and flipping over furniture. And so I just went over and I physically redirected her to the chair. Her behaviors continued to escalate, so I asked Sean for some assistance and to switch out.
Yeah, so by the time I got to her, she was out of control. So she continued to be physically aggressive and trying to hurt herself. So there wasn't really much I could do at that point. Just kind of hold on and wait till she got tired.
Okay, I conducted a live space interview with Serena. I asked her what was her behavior, and she reported that she was crying, hitting, physically aggressive to herself, throwing herself on the floor, leaving a sign area. I asked her what caused her behavior. She reported that she wanted a printout from Mr. Jason, and Mr. J told her to wait until he was done doing what he needs to do. There wasn't no injuries that she sustained from the physical intervention, but I wanted to find out, what could we have done to prevent physical intervention?
I probably could have stopped what I was doing. I was entering stuff on shift change. I could have stopped, printed it, and then continued on. But, long day, we get busy, and I was just trying to get it done.
Mm-hmm. Also, so just keep in mind that we all know that Serena, one of her main triggers is that whenever we do any physical intervention, it's a trigger to her. Yeah.
Okay, well, all in all, good job, guys. I know it's a very difficult moment, right? We're on 4 days at a time for very long shifts, taking care of these kids who are a little difficult at times. And I know there's a lot of frustration, but all in all, I think you guys are putting the safety of the client first, which is the most important thing. And also just it's important to talk these things through so we can improve as we improve every day here at Latte. Ready, and go. Over here was the first team. Yeah, it is reflective practice. So at Latte, we do make it a very strong point to always reflect and improve on what we do, especially when handling clients that are so very different, right? So that was our last video for at least this interactive part, which was mostly to just keep you guys a little involved also in the videos and to see the things that we do at Latte, right? And what we do for all these kids. The prizes will be given to everyone. So, thank you for coming. We will continue. And I'll hand it over to Ms. Weekly.
So I'm going to be talking about transition. Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, but really only just yesterday, a very special boy was born to a family in the village of Nahalani. His parents named him Medgut and loved him so much. Over the years, Medgut grew and grew, and by the time he celebrated his 5th full rotation of the earth, it was clear he was different than other boys in the village. He was a strong swimmer. He could weave mats in half the time others took. He could carve boats out of duk-duk trees so fast that it would make your head spin. And he could lift latte stones and place them wherever the elders needed for making homes. And he did this with a smile on his face and thought everything was okay. But it wasn't. Medgut's dad became very jealous of his son's talent and contrived to get rid of his son, pressuring Medgut's mom to also turn her back on her son. They began thinking of a way to send him to another island so he would no longer be a threat. When Medgut learned of these plans, he began to feel that his parents no longer loved him, and he thought, I'll show them. I will do things in the village to show them how strong I am. And so he began to wreck latte huts, burn the boats others were working on, and be mean to other children in the village. The elders of the village were concerned. They knew Medgut was basically a good boy who just did not know his strength, and they appealed to the parents on Medgut's behalf. Let us help you, they said. He can stay with us for a while, and we can teach him to live with you in harmony. We will spend some time with you so you can see the value of your son. He has the potential to be an important member of our village. Please don't send him away. The mom said, Please, husband, I really do love my son. I don't want to lose him, and I think if we take the help that is offered, our son can live in harmony with us and be an important member of our village. The father was skeptical but relented to his wife's pleas. It took some time, but Medgut came to understand that some people need time to understand him as he is. It took some time, but Medgut came to understand that some people need to understand him as he is. It took some time, but Medgut's dad came to appreciate the value of Medgut's strength and that he could be a leader of the village someday. And so they tried and tried, and with the help of the whole village, Medgut and his family were reunited and lived a happy and fruitful life. So I'm going to talk about individualized transition planning. Individualized transition planning starts early and focuses on client strengths. I'm going to tell you a story about Maria. Maria was faced with many challenges within her home and community. Her family did not understand what was happening to her. The family were in and out of relative homes until they no longer were accepted because of Maria. They thought she may have been possessed by the devil, and her nuclear and extended family did not know how to help her. Her mother was not in her life. Rarely did Maria run into her in the community, and her father could not emotionally or financially support her. Maria has a big brother who has his own challenges, but holds her close to his heart. She had many challenges fitting into the community, as did Medgut. So I just want to add here that I want to give many thanks to many of us social workers, even in this room today, who work so hard and passionately for the good of others. So the community healthcare providers and the RAP team stepped in, to learn more about Maria, and they developed a plan tailored to her needs so that she could be able to build better relationships with her nuclear and extended family and safely integrate her back into the community where she would be included and happy. So how does it all happen? Through multidisciplinary collaboration, inclusive of team coordination and school and service coordination. The team worked diligently to help Maria meet her goals and objectives of her treatment plan. Her case is discussed quarterly to acknowledge her accomplishment and focuses on improvements needed, as well as to address her readiness for transition. It has been a long journey for Maria, who has been in treatment for approximately 2 years. Through her time in treatment, Maria will continue to require multi-systemic interventions given her disability, and as much as her family loves her, Father remains unable to care for her. The complexity of this case is in transition. Although transition plans were in place, the frustration is having to wait too long for services to be provided due to the bureaucracy of the government. And in this case, having to go through many assessments, multidisciplinary team meetings to determine the appropriate group home level of care, and then having no group home to transition to because there are none available right now. At this point, because Maria is of age and ready to transition out of Latte, the RAP team is scrambling to develop a short-term placement goals until such time a group home is available. So the RAP team now is talking about looking at the extension of a waiver to the Latte contract, getting her under GURA family unification program, and explore if a family member or caregiver can live with her. In addition, involve the RAP team to monitor her within the community setting. If successful, this can be a placement option, and if not, simultaneously, keeping the group home admission the option. Still, yet another concern is addressing who will be her guardian after she leaves Latte. Maria turned 18 years old in April. This also slows down the process of entitlements as an adult. Currently, she's being assisted to apply for housing, public assistance benefits, employment, and transportation while under Latte Treatment Center. The plan must include skill building and readiness support. It should focus on life coping skills and real world practice. Maria has learned so much while in treatment and has more control over emotions and coping skills. Maria feels her strength is in creativity, teamwork, and forgiveness. She was given funds from her in-school youth program with the intent to teach money management skills. One day she went to McDonald's with only $7. She had to work with the cashier on what she could get with that amount of money when she really wanted a supersized meal. It was frustrating for the cashier, but they were able to resolve it together, and she purchased the biggest sandwich her money could buy. Another experience was in shopping for the right footwear to go with her graduation dress, deciding in the end to select comfortable shoes. She also decided to invest in her graduation pictures over her school pictures. All of this is about deciding between wants and needs. Maria has come a long way and has forgiven her peers, who she once had problems with, and continues to maintain her activities of daily living skills in a supervised setting. The team continues to address Maria's transition. Although it is difficult to be with her family, the team will not give up. She engages in telephone conversations with her family from time to time, and recently had the opportunity for a day pass with Renina for a special occasion. It is the hope that Maria will someday transition into her own home with continued long-term supports from the team and the community. LTC provides parent training modules prior to full transition. Monitored visitations continue throughout the transition, and crisis intervention and in vivo training occurs for the family as needed. And today, still many family members are grateful from the learning experience at Latte, and they still continue to connect with the staff. Continuity of care includes a warm handoff and comprehensive discharge packet. Once fully transitioned, is monitored and completed, Latte holds a formal discharge meeting with all stakeholders involved in the case to review the client's history and provide all supporting documents for the gaining team and to ensure a smooth and safe transition. Empowerment and goal setting is where you include the client's voice to help achieve short and long-term goals. Maria is involved in all aspects of her treatment plan, expressing her preference in care, treatment, and services. She has far exceeded her short-term goals to improve her interpersonal skills from being withdrawn and talking to herself to having full conversations, expressing her opinions on matters, and being a role model to her peers. For her in-school youth program, her coworkers have expressed that she communicates and cooperates in a positive manner and follows direction. Regarding her goal to improve her ADLs, she does her chores at home independently and is able to make simple meals with supervision. Maria continues to work on her hygiene, and she will continue to require monitoring on this task. Maria's voice is heard and is documented in her outcome survey, completed each quarter, that allows her to express her thoughts and her feelings on her behaviors, social interactions with peers in the group home, if her medications have helped her, if therapy has helped her, how it is going in the school environment, and if she is ready for discharge or showed a significant positive change towards discharge. Educational advocacy and resource linkage are very important components for the client and family. Maria has an IEP, and Latte continues to advocate on her behalf given her disability. Maria has challenges at the beginning of her high school years. The school and Latte have maintained a good coordinated effort on her behalf. As a senior, there are minor incidents reported to Latte and are managed by the school. She has been linked to vocational interest in school youth program and adult service entitlements. Other resources for LTC clients include mentorship at GCC for clients interested in the police academy, engaging clients in their religious desire, having them attend services with their family, enrolling those into drug and alcohol prevention programs, attend mental health awareness activities, and even offering Bible study and much more. So, you heard the story in Beckett. You see, it takes a village to raise a child, but it also takes a community to heal the child with emotional wounds.
Half a day, my name is Dawn Regis, and I'm the Quality Assurance Director for Latte Treatment Center. And for the past 16 years, my task has been to collate and prepare information for a system-wide report on all operations for leadership. I also spend a lot of time making sure Latte will survive any Joint Commission survey activities. I like to sometimes joke around about me being the Latte police, but policing is really what I do. I just make sure that we all follow our own policies and procedures. I also like to think of my job as kind of a virus protection program, because really I operate in the background, looking at things, reading reports, looking at videos, observing staff, doing all kinds of different things in order to ensure that we remain true to our programming and our high standards of care. I really like this year's conference theme, which is we speak and they listen. But I'm going to tell you right now that when QA speaks, no one wants to listen. Because usually when QA speaks, it means that something went wrong. And when that happens, sometimes it's a simple thing. Just say, whoops, I did something wrong, and we move on. And other times it's a more painful process where we have to sit down and discuss what happened, why it happened, and what we can do to fix it. And then follow up on that is myself making sure that everybody has integrated all of those changes into their everyday activities. I also like the sub-theme for this year's conference, which is about storytelling and how it affects policy. And to that end, I have a short story to tell you that has a very important metaphor. And that metaphor is any company that doesn't have well-established policies and procedures is like a rudderless boat without an anchor. Any wind will blow you, any current will put you off course, and if there's an impending storm, then the probability of sinking suddenly becomes quite high. And now I would love to share with you my story about Captain Tataga and Captain Mafuti. Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, but only just yesterday, there was an exceptionally skilled seafaring community in the village of Nahalani. Their ancestors arrived in long boats from far-off magical places. These seafarers maintained their long-held ancient ways of doing things. They looked upon these traditions as gifts from their ancestors and knew that following them would always serve them well. Captain Tataga was a member of this seafaring community and had a great reputation for bringing in big catches of fish. His partner, Captain Mafuti, was equally talented. They each had their own boats, but often fished together. They both shared a deep love for the sea and couldn't imagine doing anything else. Recently, however, Mafuti had noticed that Tataga was starting to take shortcuts, cutting corners, and didn't always follow the ancient traditions provided by the ancestors. More and more, Mafuti preferred to take his own boat. One day, while out on the wild sea, Captain Tataga realized he had lost his rudder and his sails were ripped. The current was strong, the water was too deep to drop anchor, and a storm was visible on the horizon. "Latte, what am I going to do now?" he cried, to no one in particular. And in the space of that panicked moment, he remembered a conversation he had had with Mafuti that very morning. "Tataga, what are you doing?" "I'm getting ready to go get some fish." "Dude, really? That boat leads like crazy. The sails need mending. Your nets are tangled. And look at the floaters. Look at the rudder. It's cracked. And look at that chain on the anchor. Rusted." "Man, Mafuti, I don't have time for any of that. You already know that the big fiesta is tomorrow, and I want to show everyone what great fishing skills I have. And bring in the biggest catch. Don't forget that you're talking to a descendant of the great and magical seafarers of the East. I'm good. You coming or not?" "That's okay," said Mafuti. "I'll use my own boat today." Mafuti went to get his boat together. "Lucky I ran those checklists and did all that maintenance last week," he said, to no one in particular. "I better take some extra supplies, though. That bird-brained Tataga is going to get himself in trouble." Soon Mafuti was out at sea. He took note on the currents and the way the sea smelled, the direction of the wind, and kept his eye on those low, dark clouds on the horizon. His boat skimmed the water with ease. He dropped lines and pulled in enough fish for the fiesta the next day. He was ready to turn for home, but he was a little bit worried for his friend Tataga. He decided to go check a fishing spot that was one of their favorites. The wind was picking up, the water was getting choppy, but he knew his boat was capable of handling the rough waters, and on he sailed. Soon he heard a distress call. "That's Tataga blowing his conch shell," he said, to no one in particular, and quickly adjusted his sails and turned the rudder to move in the direction of the sound. Soon enough, he found his friend and the boat floundering. Sails in the water, rudder broken, and water too deep to drop anchor. Mafuti caught wind and maneuvered next to Tataga's boat. "Hop on, dude," he yelled over the wind, "before you have to swim home." They made it back safe and sound, but Tataga had lost his boat. He knew he was going to catch it from his wife because now he couldn't go out and fish anytime soon. At first, he was angry at the ancestors. Why didn't they come to my aid when I needed them, he wondered. But deep down, he knew it was his fault. He didn't deserve help because he had not followed his ancient traditions that had served his people so well. And you can tell it's me because I'm wearing the same things. Okay, I'm going to talk to you about quality assurance and also policy and how all that works. It's not long, trust me. So you'll be out of here. The role of QA is oversight. Policy without oversight tends to allow for rudderless leadership. That's why QA is an integral part of our work. A robust QA process helps us to maintain adherence to policies and procedures. It helps us identify program drift and also recognize risk areas. Latte Treatment Center has very solid policies and procedures, and they have served us well. I can assure you there's no dust on our P&Ps. We go through rigorous annual reviews, and they are only made stronger by the added support of Joint Commission standards. The impact on development is rooted in the understanding the policies that have guided us through the years are not just a set of rules, but more a structured approach to service delivery, advocacy, and resilience. As a result, I think we set a good example in the community for quality care. Our services are well respected within the community. We're an essential part of the system of care. We are trusted partners in this business of caring for children with some pretty serious issues. And just on the strength of our policies and the people who implement them, we have weathered some very difficult times and have emerged much stronger for the experience. How have our policies shaped our operation? Latte operates with strict procedural guidelines in case management and program execution. These are not arbitrary regulations. Structured programming ensures stability and safety with equity in treatment, ensuring that every client gets the same high standard of care. It enables quick and consistent staff responses, which helps reduce confusion in crisis situations. It enhances safety, particularly during behavior outbursts, preventing harm to both clients and staff, and also helps to stabilize clients faster, which gives them a better chance at long-term recovery. Standardized operations lead to better outcomes. Our environment of care policies create a therapeutic and structured setting. Collaboration with community providers ensures a seamless continuity of care. Strict medication regimens significantly reduce the risk of medication errors, and clear emergency response protocols provide for effective crisis management. Comprehensive transition and discharge plans prevent clients from falling back into crisis. How do we influence other agencies? We set a good example. Our accredited program played a critical role in removing Latte from a permanent injunction, a major legal obstacle that could have crippled our ability to operate. In turn, this also set a precedent that allowed Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center to emerge from a similar situation. We have a reputation for swiftly adapting to client needs, providing exceptional case management, proactively finding solutions to problems, and quickly implementing new or hybrid programming as the need arises. Beyond our immediate work, we are strong advocates for public assistance, not just for our clients, but for parents as well. And every now and then, our efforts help shape policies that ensure vulnerable populations receive the support that they need. In conclusion, the story of Latte Treatment Center is proof that strong policies and procedures are not just a bunch of words on paper to be stored on a shelf. They are important tools for survival, progress, and influence. They make it possible to be the captain of a strong and stable ship. Without them, we could not have weathered the challenges we faced or set new precedents for residential treatment services. And without them, we could not have played a role in shaping the policies of other agencies, compelling them to provide better, more accountable care for those who need it most. Lessons learned: if we want people to really listen when we speak, we must build our organizations on a foundation of strong, well-enforced policies and procedures. Because when we do, we significantly reduce the risk of becoming a Captain Tataga, adrift at sea, at peril of losing everything, and we increase the probability of becoming a Captain Mafuti, a talented and capable seafarer that serves his community well. Thank you for your time and attention.
Okay, it's been a long day, and these are the the two requests that President Jamila had requested that we address, and I hope we did a good job of covering that. So, when Peter and I were at the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse, we were working on a grant, and this saying, crumble all barriers for everyone to live a life of dignity, respect, and freedom in the community has been near and dear, and has been a common thread for Latte Treatment Center as far as doing what we can as a private entity in order to overcome some of the bureaucracy challenges that are inherent in government processes. In the government, it takes a lot longer to get things done, but with the public-private partnership with Latte Treatment Center, we're able to weed through the procurement system a lot quicker, be more efficient, and provide services. Oftentimes, we're very frustrated, and I'm sure you're very frustrated for those of you that work for the government. There's a lot of systemic issues. But I want you to ask yourselves, why are you doing what you're doing, okay? And it really takes a special person to be involved in helping other people, especially as social workers. And with that, I would like to play this video that is near and dear to our heart and is an example of what we had done and worked with the client to become independent, and we had to crumble a lot of barriers in order for him to live a life of dignity, respect, and freedom in the community.
I'm Joseph Anderson,
How old are you?
28,
28? When's your birthday?
February 28, 1982.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I was born here in Guam, and I was raised in Agat.
Where are you living now?
In Jigo. I live in Jigo in GB.
Working here in this group home, we again deal with individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and the whole goal is to make sure that they reach their maximum potential, and we engage them to live a satisfying and fulfilling life in the community. And so what we do at Guma Bethesda is very person-centered. We have actually staff that support the consumers in the group home. They touch on different areas such as activities of daily living skills that may include money management, personal management, grooming and hygiene, and things of that nature.
So you head to the bus every day? Oh, okay. Do you like working at Pacific Tire?
I do.
Oh, is everyone nice there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
What kind of hobbies do you have?
I play guitar.
You play guitar?
Okay, play C. Good, good. Okay, F. Play F. Good, good. Play G. Okay, what's the other way of playing?
Okay, my name's Lawrence Laguanya.
Good, good.
I'm Joseph's guitar teacher.
What string is that? B.
A.
A, okay. It says right there. Okay, that's perfect. And then sixth string?
How long have you been teaching Joe?
So close between half a year and a year. Mostly once a week. I think his memory has improved with as far as learning chords. And also, I can see it in Joe that he's a much happier person now that he's playing guitar. That's
Joe, you're on Candy Camera.
What were you guys playing earlier?
Abu Magi, and it's Chamorro music. It's a JD Crutch classic.
I put upon myself. I forced myself to play here.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
I've known Joe for approximately 8 to 9 years, since he was a minor under the court system. Joe was in special education under Department of Education. The team had many struggles with Joe concerning placement. He's lived in so many different homes away from his biological mother and father. He's lived with paternal family as well as maternal family, but that never worked out. Although very great to be around, his personality is really, he's a wonderful person. He did struggle with a lot of behaviors because of the difficulty over the years. He never had any stability. Nothing lasted very long. So milestones like graduation were a very big deal for him. There's a lot of potential, so it kept everybody driven to continue. He just had it in him, and I think if you knew him enough, you'd know to work hard enough that you can get him through those difficulties. And it was, again, very, very difficult. Sometimes he would listen, sometimes he just would not. I pushed for more support. We're able to place him in the current placement that he's at. He is also in a group home for adults right now. And that has since, from what I've seen in the past, it's been the most stable he's been for years. The changes in personality, the changes in respect. I mean, there was he was always a very, very good person, but he was definitely different, mature. His eye contact was a lot better the times I've seen him, and he seems really happy.
Check 1, 2.
Check 1, 2, check 1, 2.
Later on, we moved him over to the Manila branch because we found that there was less activity there, and so less distractions for him. And he suddenly just suddenly really got into the work, and we paired him up with Dan, and those two got together and they just hit it off, and Joe just blossomed. He just became Mr. Pacific Tire.
Yeah, when I first started with Joe, he didn't really know what was going on, and then he started to follow me, and I started to teach him things that he never did before. I tend to just let him go and just let him do what he was doing, and he was doing good. But he still, I help him out when he needs help. He's always saying that I can't do it, Dan, I can't do it. I said, no, Joe, you can do it. So you go on and do it, and then he surprised me. He surprised me because he does it, and it's not hard. You just gotta learn. We'll go to a chores here where clean the restroom, then take the old tires and put it back, pick up the trash. Then all of a sudden he just does it himself. I said, Joe, you know what to do already. I don't have to be next to you no more. So now he does it. He doesn't have to be told.
Do you have a song that you guys can play for us?
Yeah, I think I can.
Your song, gan.
Ready? When I was a little bitty baby, my mama used to rock me in my cradle, in my home. Those nephews back home. It was down in Manangun Valley, just about a mile from Paisapin Alley. My home, those nephews back home. Zanggin humano para nyamu sempre yung soda pamilya Naguero di Pionya si Feliz Pudita. Zanggin humano pa pulanta sempre na yung soda pamilya Tobi Bipyonya si pidu saka. When I was a little bitty baby, my mama used to rock me in my cradle. In my home, Dotnya is back home. It was down in Manangoon Valley, just about a mile from Pacific Alley. In my home, Dotnya is back home. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes our presentation, and I'm pretty sure we're out of time. I know the conference is ending, and if anyone wants to stay behind and ask some questions of the team, I'm more than happy to. Unless someone has a burning question or comment.
Okay. The sign-in sheet.
Oh, yeah.
Get around. Did the sign-in sheet get around to everybody? No. If not, maybe you can make sure you sign. And we have prizes for all of you.
So all of you are winners today, so we have a gift for everybody. So, okay. Thank you.